Gunfire rings out on a busy Marietta street. The shooting leaves one man dead and the killer on the run. Good afternoon, and thanks so much for watching Fox 5 News at 4. I'm Christine Spiro. The deadly encounter happened at the new Harlow Apartments on Cobb Parkway, right at Windy Hill Road, less than 2 miles from Truist Park in the Battery.
Marietta police say they found the victim's body outside of the leasing office here at the Harlow Apartments. There was a desperate search for the gunman, but he apparently slipped away.
Somebody started acting crazy over there, saying, oh, yeah, he got a gun. And when I pulled up at the Quick Trip, I seen so many police. I just thought they was getting robbed, but I didn't know it was a killing.
Marietta police say they had very little information they could release about the shooting.
Sean, shots were fired here just before noon today here in Smyrna, and the medical examiner arrived here shortly, removed the body that was lying just outside of these apartments. And I was able to talk with a witness who heard it all, who saw it all. She was too shaken to speak on camera, but she said she heard 6 gunshots and they were fatal.
The victim was now dating someone that had formerly been involved with the suspect.
In a town that is about 20 minutes northwest of Atlanta, Georgia, lies Smyrna, Georgia. It's a growing city with a lot of new infrastructure going up all around the town. Though the city is 20 miles away from the hustle and bustle of Atlanta, Smyrna itself has a small town vibe to it. There are charming neighborhoods all over the city and a vast array of amenities for residents to enjoy. In the beginning of 2023, a brand new luxury apartment community will finally open its doors to new residents. One of those residents of the Harlow Apartments will be 39-year-old Kenneth Cunningham. Kenneth was originally from Chicago and moved to Atlanta in 2006 to further his dreams in the music industry. According to his social media, he was an artist, songwriter, and actor. Kenneth was the oldest child of his parents, and he has one sister. Though his sister was younger, they grew up very close and was a loving family. In 2006, sadly, he lost his mother when he was only 22 years old, and his sister was a teenager at the time. Their mother was only 48 years young when she passed away. It would be later in 2006 when Kenneth would move to Atlanta, the mega entertainment hub of the Black community. At some point over the years, he moved again, but officially moved back to Atlanta in 2020. He would then make different moves and be introduced to multiple people in the industry and was just a production assistant on a music video in 2023. He also had his own music that he put out, and he went by Fat Kenny in the industry behind the ADH music group. He would work countless hours in the studio and put his heart into his music videos. Kenneth was not married and did not have kids of his own, but his sister had a son in 2022, and he was beyond happy to become an uncle. Life was looking good for Kenneth, and he hoped to have a family in the future of his own with the right person. While things seemed to be looking up in 2023, sadly, it would not be the same come 2024. Kenneth would start a new relationship with a woman in 2023, and by January 2024, the couple had only been dating for a few months or less. On January 3rd, Kenneth was up early. That day was his 40th birthday. His family and friends were coming into town from Chicago and Texas to celebrate him. There were even family members that were going to surprise him, and he had no idea they were coming. On that morning, as family and friends arrived into town, a day of celebration would quickly turn into a day of tragedy. This is what Kenneth's aunt would tell everyone. This is my nephew Kenneth, aka Little Kenny, and my brother in this picture. This is them together on Christmas Day. Kenny returned home to Atlanta to prepare for his 40th birthday, January 3rd, to celebrate with family and friends. Everyone showed up yesterday from Chicago and Texas. Some came as a surprise. As Kenny was leaving to pick up his sister at 10:30 a.m., a male walked up to him dressed in an Amazon uniform and shot him 10 times with an illegal semi-automatic weapon, unaliving him instantly. It was a totally senseless, premeditated unaliving. Kenny began dating a young lady a couple of months ago, and when the person that took Kenny's life learned of it, he sought revenge. My nephew attempted to flee on foot when he realized he was in danger, but to no avail. It is believed that the person who did this was aware that it was his birthday and chose that date to take his life. Thankfully, the criminal was arrested yesterday evening and is in jail without bond now. Kenny was a kind-hearted, gentle soul. He really wouldn't harm anyone. The night before he was taken, he called and talked to me about doing better as a family and staying in touch regularly. That is who he was. He loved his family, friends, and his nephew, Dallas. That is just some of what she had to say. To give more context, the person that Kenny was dating had an enraged ex, 33-year-old Donovan Carter, who also happened to be from Chicago, too, but lived in Atlanta. Donovan drove over an hour from his home to Kenny's place just to take his life because his ex, who was not being named, moved on. He allegedly shot him 10 times in front of the leasing office by dressing in disguise as an Amazon driver that was delivering a package for his birthday. This is just sick to think about and so sad. He never saw it coming. As 911 was quickly called, Donovan allegedly took off back to his home in Stockbridge, Georgia, about an hour south of where Kenny lived. There was a quick response from law enforcement, according to the news outlets, and officers from various rankings, along with detectives, collaborated on the investigation to piece together the details of the crime.
New tonight, police say a killer dressed as a delivery driver to lure a man into a trap and then shot him. This is a mugshot of the accused killer, Donovan Carter. Police say he shot and killed a man who was dating his ex-girlfriend. The shooting happened Wednesday outside of Harlow Apartments on Windy Hill Road.
Donovan Carter was finally arrested by the Gwyneth police during a traffic stop, and authorities will work together to bring him into custody, according to law enforcement. Donovan now faces multiple charges, including malice unaliving and aggravated assault.
You have 4 charges currently pending against you tonight. The first is the charge of aggravated assault with the intent to murder another human being.
Thursday night, 33-year-old Donovan Carter listened as a judge formally read the charges he's facing in connection to the shooting death of Kenneth Cunningham.
The audacity, the overt actions of this violent criminal to drive so far to shoot someone to death premeditated. This is an individual that drove over an hour, put on a uniform, a costume if you will, to change his appearance and look like a delivery driver, to lure this victim out of their residence.
Arrest warrants say Carter fired bullets from a semi-automatic handgun, which struck Cunningham as he was running away. Marietta police say after he pulled the trigger, Carter drove over an hour away back to his home in Gwinnett County. 6 agencies worked together to track him down.
This story is wild. He didn't want to hurt her. He wanted to hurt her by hurting the person she was with. And he would go and gun him down that way, shoot him 10 times. It's just beyond tragic and sad. So you can't even just watch the people that you date. You have to kind of know about the people that they dated before and if those relationships ended well or not. This is something that should have never happened. This man didn't deserve that. He didn't even have a chance to get married, to be a father, or anything. Everything was cut short for him. And this is just so tragic. But let me know your thoughts on this situation. And as well, my thoughts and prayers go out to them in this most difficult time and tragic time, to be getting off a plane thinking you're about to celebrate, not knowing that you're going to be planning a funeral instead of a birthday. It's just beyond belief. Also, don't forget to comment your prayers for this family. And also don't forget to hit that like button and share to keep your people aware. And as always, remember, stay woke. Things change quickly.